to the gathering, Terry's Travels. Hi, Mike.
Hey, Terry, how you doing?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. I can't wait. I was so excited when you emailed me this menu last week.
I know, truly. Tonight's menu is so delicious. I can't wait to get started. So, my question is, are we ready to go to a country that's partly in Europe and partly in Asia?
I can't wait. This is amazing. And that's one of my fun facts, too, for later.
There you go. There you go. So we'd be going to Turkey and we're going to have a Turkish dinner. And what's on the menu tonight is a Turkish salad, Turkish kebabs, Turkish rice, Revani, which is a Turkish semolina cake, Kahvesi, Turkish coffee, and then we're going to end with Yeni Raki, which is a Turkish liqueur. Now, the gods of pronunciation will have to forgive me because I'm sure as we go on tonight, my pronunciation may be a little off, but you have to give me A for effort, right?
Absolutely. Always.
Okay. So we're going to start with the cake.
Disrespectful.
And let me show you what I have here. For the cake, I have a cup of semolina, which is a flour. I have a half a cup of regular flour. I have 2 teaspoons of baking powder, 3 eggs, a half a cup of sugar, 1 cup of plain yogurt, and a cup of olive oil. Now, for the syrup, I have 2 cups of water, 2 cups of sugar, and a half a lemon squeezed. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start by putting the syrup together because this has to go on the stove and it has to come to a boil and then it has to simmer for 20 minutes. So I'm going to put this on the stove. I put the sugar and the water together. So I'll just give that a little stir, make that, keep going. Let me get these out of the way. And then while we're here, I am just going to throw the lemon juice in there, get that out of the way too, because why not, right? So this will come to a boil. We'll keep an eye on it because then we'll turn it down and simmer it for 20 minutes. Now, while that's coming to a boil, I'm going to put the cake together. So I am going to add the eggs and the sugar, and with an electric mixer, I'm going to mix this. Whoop. Oh, isn't this funny? You know how you know my baking skills, right?
We know. It's all about the cooking, not the baking. We know.
Yeah, some things don't change, Mike.
Nope, never.
Okay, so now I'm going to add the dry ingredients, which is the flour, the semolina, and the baking powder. Okay. And then I'm also going to add the oil and the yogurt. Now, this is plain yogurt. Now, when I grew up, we used to eat plain yogurt as a treat, and we never sweetened it. And to this day, I love it plain. So no matter where I go in Europe, I can always grab some yogurt and be happy.
That was a big staple. My father used to just eat the yogurt all day long.
Oh, absolutely.
We never heard about adding fruits and nuts and granola, whatever. It was just a plain Colombo yogurt.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm with you there. So the semolina flour is going to give this a nice golden color. So we're just going to mix this. That looks pretty good. It's incorporated. I'm going to move this over here out of the way. And as you can see, looks pretty good. Now I'm going to put this in the prepared pan. I have the oven set at 350. Now what's going to happen is we're going to bake this for 30 minutes. And then we're going to take it out of the oven and let it cool a little bit. And then what we're going to do is we're going to cut designs on it. Now you can do triangles, squares, whatever you like. And with the syrup, we're going to pour it over the cake once it cools down and it's cut so that the syrup can fall into the cake. And then we'll sprinkle a little coconut on top. How's that sound?
That sounds great. Oh, look, adding the coconut is the nice sweet part.
Yeah, truly. Now this is coming along. The syrup's coming along. I'm hearing it. So I can hear that it is starting to boil, getting close to it. I'm going to put the cake in the oven. And because I'm not such a good baker, I am going to time it so that when it goes off, if we're talking, then I'll know to take the cake out. I'm going to put this in the sink. And then we're going to quickly get on to our next dish, which is the rice, the Turkish rice. And what I have here, I have 2 tablespoons of butter, 1 tablespoon of olive oil, a 1/4 cup of orzo. I have 4 cups of chicken stock. I have garlic. Oh, sorry, garlic is not for that. And I have the rice. I have 2 cups of rice. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to heat up the butter and the olive oil. I'm going to get that going. And what we're going to do, Mike, we're going to brown the orzo. And this is kind of like the rice pilaf, and this is how they do it. So once we have that melted, we'll brown the orzo. Now this is boiling. This is beautiful. I'm going to turn down the heat and we're going to simmer it for 20 minutes. Okay, so when there's 10 minutes left on the timer, this will be ready to cool down. So 20 minutes, 7:30, we'll take it off. We'll let it cool down.
Sure.
So that right when we're making the coffee, we'll be able to pour the syrup on the cake. So we're going to get this rice pilaf going, and the butter is melting. And while that's melting, Mike, do you want to pull up the first slide?
Yeah, I'm gonna do that. Give me I think I can get that pretty quick here.
Right, so we can see where.
Wrong one. Oh my God, I got the music going here.
So
How did I get the music back?
yeah,
Sorry about that.
no worries, no worries. We'll see on the map where Turkey is, and you can see how close it is to Europe.
Yeah, let me get there we go.
And what I like about this picture is that it shows you how big it is.
There's a lot of land. They took over a lot of land in the early days.
Yeah, yeah. And if you go to the next slide,
See if I can do that. Here we go.
you'll see how many provinces there are.
Yeah.
There are a ton. And then you can see where Greece is and the other countries there.
Syria. Yeah, oh yeah. Cyprus. Sure.
Yep, yep. And then when you go to the next slide, you're going to see where we actually came in. We came in to Ephesus and we went to Kusadasi. So we hit both those places on this trip.
Okay.
So that was very interesting. Now I'm checking this butter and the oil. Now that's in good shape. So I'm going to add the orzo and I'm going to start browning that. Now it's the same type of thinking if you make rice-a-roni, okay?
Yep.
You know how when you throw everything in the butter, but it's the little noodle pieces that get brown.
Right.
Well, orzo, they're noodles. They're like little pasta shapes. So same type of thinking there.
Absolutely. Also, for a lot of people at home might know when they go to a lot of events, the Italian wedding soup.
Yes.
That's the orzo right there. Those
Yes.
little noodles.
With the little meatballs.
Little meatballs. Yes. I just had a cup yesterday. Homemade.
And
Right
the
here locally.
escarole.
It was
The
great. Oh, it's
escarole.
amazing. Best stuff
Love it.
ever.
Love it, love it. Well, we'll be doing a Sicilian show sometime soon, and maybe we'll do a tribute to Michael Corleone, his wedding, and we'll do a little side wedding soup.
Absolutely. And we just do it without the bullets. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, as long as we have bodyguards, right?
There you go. Right. We'll get some.
Yeah.
Well, I'll ask Jim about the budget if we can afford that.
That sounds good. Sounds good. Absolutely. So these orzos are browning up nicely. I am now going to add the rice. Okay. We'll get that in there. And we'll get that coated. Can you hear it, Mike?
Not really, because what happens is we have the original sound off, so that's what covered up when you did the mixer. We don't hear the mixer going because that could be really loud. So yeah, it's hard to hear that.
Okay. Well, it's looking real good. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pour the chicken broth, 4 cups of chicken broth. And
now that is something as simple as just getting your collagen or something from the store. You don't have to go and boil your chickens to get that, right?
Absolutely. You can make your own.
Yep.
Or collagen is an excellent substitute when you're not making your own. Okay, now I'm going to bring this to a boil. It'll take a few seconds. And then I'll cover it and we'll simmer it. Simmer it for 10 minutes and then take it off the heat. And now, a couple of ways you can do it. You can keep it simmering, which I might do, but you can also take it off the heat after you simmer it for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Keep it covered and wait for about 20 minutes, 25 minutes, and you get perfect rice. So either way.
Right.
So you want to cut down on your electric bill, take it off.
I always seem to have that in between. You know, it's to make the perfect rice, it's really hard. I always try to simmer it. It just seems like even on low heat, and I cook with gas, even on low heat, it seems like a little too much and it steams the water out way too fast.
Absolutely.
So rice is not an easy thing to cook.
No. That's why, a lot of people have rice makers.
Yeah.
And they swear by them. So maybe that's the answer. I don't know. I don't have one. Okay, now this is boiling. So I'm going to put my cover on, make sure it's on there good. I'm going to turn the heat down to, okay, I have numbers. So I'm going to put it down to between 2 and 1. So that's low.
That's very low. Yes. Yeah. That's as low as you can go on gas. Yep.
Yeah, I do have a low on there, but that's okay. Okay, and the syrup's coming along. I can see because it's starting to stick to the sides of the pan, so that's a good thing. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna put the kebabs together. Now look at these. Aren't these cool?
Those are great skewers. I like the ends. I like the little stoppers at the end. That's great.
Exactly. Now this thing, you see this? You know what this is for?
No. Oh, for getting them off after?
Yes.
Nice. So you don't burn your fingers?
That's right. You go, beep,
I've
and
been
there
doing
you
it
go.
wrong for so many years.
So that's pretty good, huh?
I like it.
Okay, so for the marinade, now you can marinate this overnight or whatever you have, but here I have 2 pounds of lamb chunks. Beautiful. I bought them in chunks, so all I had to do, the big pieces, I cut them in half.
Yep.
I have 8 plum tomatoes, cut those in half. And the reason why I love these, you skewer them and they stay together really nice, okay? And nothing like grilled, baked tomatoes on skewers.
Absolutely.
Now, for the
That's all right.
marinade,
Yep.
I have 3 garlic cloves. And as I announce them, I'm going to throw them in the pan here. I have 3 tablespoons of olive oil. I have 1 tablespoon of tomato paste. I have a half a teaspoon of paprika. I have a 1/4 teaspoon of ground cinnamon, a 1/4 teaspoon of ground cumin, and 1 tablespoon of fresh thyme. Now that fresh thyme is really going to give it that just wonderful flavor. With the cinnamon and the cumin, you've got your Middle Eastern flavors here, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. That is such a key ingredient. I mean,
you
you
can
can't
see
get any
it.
better than you can't get that stuff out of a can or out of
You
a
can
jar
see
or
this,
a bottle,
right?
whatever. Yeah. That looks
Now,
awesome.
I am only going to put the meat in the marinade, okay? Not the tomatoes. Okay, so I'm going to mix this up really nice. Get it all coated there.
So one of the nice things about this marinade, it's not something that you have to make ahead of time and let it sit. It's all about coating the meat.
Right. Now you can let it sit.
Yep.
Because the longer you do, the more intense it's going to be, which is wonderful. But it's not necessary because of the flavors of the spices.
Sure.
It's really going to be wonderful. So I have a wonderful big pan here, right?
Yep.
And I counted everything out. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take a skewer. Excuse me. I'm going to put 1 piece of meat, 1 piece of, now see how nice?
Those are
Those
nice big
plum
slices.
tomatoes
Yeah.
stay right on there. And look at these chunks. They're just beautiful. And each skewer, I'm going to put 4 pieces of lamb and 4 tomatoes.
Now, these pieces of meat, the lamb that you put on here, were that something that you carved out, or did you ask the butcher to make it like that, or did you buy it like that?
Believe it or not. Now look at that. Is that beautiful?
That's perfect.
Yeah. Now, they came packaged like that, Mike.
So that's perfect.
Believe it or not. And some of them were so big, I had to cut them in half. And I only got 2 packs.
So,
And you'll see how much this makes.
right. So if you don't find that in the store packed, always ask the butcher no matter what grocery store you go to, you ask the person behind the counter and they can cut it up for you the right way.
That's right. Now, and if that's not available, you can buy a leg of lamb and do it yourself.
There you go.
Right.
Plenty of options there.
Absolutely. Which is what I was going to do. Excuse me. I have a frog in my throat today. But when I saw the meat, I thought, oh, this is perfect.
Right.
So it saved me a little bit of time in the preparation. But as you can see, really simple, right? And it smells beautiful.
As we were talking before the show started, you gave me the most interesting fact about this little little city, it's not little, I'm just joking with you, Istanbul. What
Yes.
is so interesting about Istanbul?
Okay, you tell me.
Well, the biggest fact, it straddles both Europe and Asia. It is the only city that sits on two continents.
Now, is that crazy?
That is very crazy.
Yeah.
Uh,
And that map showed it. I mean, even the first slide, right?
right. And what they say, it sits on what they call the Bosphorus, a beautiful strait with one side in Europe and the other side in Asia. The European side of Istanbul is split into two by the Golden Horn Inlet. Istanbul is truly gorgeous, of course. In fact, it's on the list of the most beautiful cities in Europe.
There you go.
So that's amazing. I mean, there's a lot of history there, but knowing that it's the only city that sits in two continents is amazing.
It is, truly. Now, I am going to just make a little room here.
Yep.
And wash my hands because, every time you touch meat, you want to do that.
Got to clean up. Got to clean that up.
Yep.
So when you were over in Turkey, I bet you did a lot of shopping.
Well, I'll tell you, we did a lot of sightseeing.
Yep.
And not so much shopping, I have to say.
Oh, did you make it over to the Grand Bazaar in Istanbul?
No, we did not.
Oh, it's crazy. It's the largest bazaar in all of Asia.
And it's beautiful. I think it's one of the last slides I have on the show. I'm going to put these in the oven. Are they
Excellent.
beautiful?
Yeah, and what do those go in the oven at?
350. And they'll just keep cooking.
Yep.
Until they're done. Okay. So depending on how well you like it, if you like your meat somewhat rare, you'll know when to take them out.
Sure.
But they're perfect on the grill too. You can do them. I have a long cast iron griddle along with my cast iron pans. I could have browned them, but
Sure.
I didn't want to compromise the tomatoes.
Right. Oh, yeah. Well, here you go. You're cooking everything together. That's
Yeah.
what makes it special.
Yeah.
So how do you like your lamb? You like your lamb? I like mine at medium. I'm a medium person on my lamb.
Yeah, truly.
Yeah.
Medium's wonderful. I love lamb chops on the bone. Doesn't matter what kind, because I'm chewing on it.
Sure.
And if I'm out at a restaurant, I'm taking those babies home so I can chew on them later for sure.
That's awesome.
Yeah, okay, so we have a few more minutes. I think I'm gonna take the syrup off to cool because you really can't see it and there's really not much to see. So I'm just gonna leave it over here and let that cool down. We've got the rice going. Turn that up just a little bit. We could pull up another couple of slides.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Let's see here. Oh boy, let me get these ready for you here. Boom, boom, boom. Oh, this one here, this is a beautiful picture that I need you to tell me all about. Let me get back to here, and it's not going as fast as I wanted to, but here we go. What is this?
That is, believe it or not, that is an ancient street. Okay.
Yeah.
And at the end of the street is the Ephesus Library. So, and you're able to walk through here. So if you go to the next slide, Mike.
Yep.
You can see the library.
Oh,
what's
boy.
left of it. And you can see the people milling around, visiting.
Sure.
But could you imagine what that was like years ago?
It's amazing. I mean, the architecture back then, and thinking about how primitive it was to put it all together and how ornamental. I mean, you're looking at those pillars and you're looking at all the work at the tops and the bottoms. It's just amazing the craftsmanship that was put into it.
Absolutely. And the next slide, believe it or not, they may look like just a bunch of rocks, but that's the Gymnasium of Vedius. And it was a wrestling hall. And it dates from the time of Nero. So the spectators would sit on the hill and watch athletes wrestle.
That is something.
Yeah.
And of course, wrestling was big out there with the Greeks and the Turks.
Yep.
That is
Definitely.
something else. And where was that? Whereabouts in Turkey was that?
That is by Ephesus.
Ephesus, okay.
By the library. Yeah, it was kind of like all in the same area. Right now, Mike, I'm going to put the salad together.
All right, let's take a look at this.
Yeah. So what we have for this Turkish salad, and it's called Revani, I have 2 large tomatoes chopped. I have 2 green peppers chopped. I have 2 cucumbers chopped. I have a half a cup of parsley, the Italian parsley for the flavor. I have a half a cup of scallions chopped, sliced. And for the dressing, I have a 1/4 cup of lemon juice, 2 tablespoons of water, 1 tablespoon of olive oil, and salt and pepper. So again, you've seen me make enough of these salad dressings, Greece, Italy.
Very simple.
Yeah, simple and based with the lemon and the olive oil. So this is very simple. I'm just going to put everything together. And you notice what's missing, Mike? Anything missing from this salad?
Well, listen, the only thing that I love in a good salad is a good crouton, but
I know. I love my croutons.
Well, I noticed there's no cheese, no croutons.
No cheese. And in fact, I'm not even going to mix this up. I'm putting it right in the salad.
Just like that, huh?
Everything, yeah. Okay, I'm going to tell you what's missing. Lettuce.
Oh, yeah. Good point.
No lettuce. And you'll find a lot of salads in the Middle East
with no lettuce.
With no lettuce.
So now this here, I could imagine making up, in the afternoon, throwing it in the fridge, and then give it a good toss and put it on the table. Would that be a good way to serve it?
It would be a perfect way to serve it. And you could do the dressing right when you mix it, because these vegetables are not going to wilt.
Right.
They're firm. They're going to hold their shape and their taste. And you do it early enough with the dressing, you get the wonderful flavor marinated.
Right. So let me ask you your personal preference. Do you like a chilled salad or room temperature salad?
I like it all.
Really?
I do.
If I had a choice, I lean towards the room temperature than the chilled. And so it's like sometimes and I do this myself, when I make a salad, I will leave it out before I touch it. And I may finish with the salad instead of starting with the salad.
Uh-huh. Yep.
It all depends.
Oh, it does. It does. And I eat very slow. So
sure.
By the time I get to the end, it's room temperature, even if it was chilled.
I get you.
Yeah. So I'm going to get rid of these now.
All right.
These off to the side. And then what I'm going to do, I had to peek. I just had to peek. Everything looks good. And the salad looks good. What I'm going to do is, why not start the coffee, right?
Oh, yeah. This is what I'm interested in, because, you watch a lot of videos and you see how European and especially Turkish coffee is made and how they put it in the hot sand and stuff, which I know you're not doing tonight, but it's
Yeah.
amazing how the coffee culture is so different than driving up to Dunkin' Donuts.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. No matter what country you go to, a lot of espresso, a lot
Yep.
of coffee like this. So what we're going to do is I am going to just turn on the burner because we're going to bring 3 cups of water to a boil. We've got 3 cups of water. I'm going to use 2 heaping teaspoons of this Kahvesi, which is Turkish coffee, and I wish you could smell it. It's beautiful. Now heaping, what do you think?
Oh yeah, that's definitely heaping.
And this good?
That's good.
Now, I don't know if you know, but in this house, we like strong coffee.
Okay.
So, and we're gonna skip the sugar because we like strong coffee. So we're gonna skip the sugar, and you want to stir this because the coffee is quite fine
Yeah.
and quite lumpy. So you want to make sure you break down the lumps. And once you heat this up and it gets going, it's going to start to foam. And when it foams, you're going to, I'm just gonna let that go for a little bit. It's on high, shouldn't take long. What we're gonna do is we'll take the pot over and put the foam, some of the foam in each cup, and then return it to the stove, get it going again, and then pour it in the cups and then top it with the foam.
So this is quite a process. This is not throwing the coffee into a percolator and letting it cook. This is a system. It's off and on, off and on.
Or a K-cup. Put
Okay,
it
yeah.
in a Keurig, right? To go.
Yeah, which is simple. Press the button and fill your cup. But
Right,
this is a process. You are actually building something here. And I remember watching a lot of, seeing a lot of videos between TikTok and YouTube when they make the Turkish coffee, how they put it in the hot sand and then you see it bubble up and then they pour it out and then they put it back in and it bubbles up. It's like, wait, where is all this stuff coming from? How does it keep happening? So when you put this on the menu, I says, oh, I can't wait to see the system. And I am not a coffee drinker. I'm a tea person.
Yeah.
I love tea like most of the Turkish people. And then I don't know if you knew this, but the Turks, 96% of the Turkish people drink tea.
Yep.
They're big fans. But the coffee is something that's phenomenal. That is well known throughout the world. And so I'm really down to watch it. Even though I don't like coffee, I want to see this system done.
Okay. So we're gonna put these off to the side now. Again, because I'm making a couple of big cups.
Right.
Usually they would drink the small demi-tasse cups, and you'd be able to use this on the stove and then pour it in. We're not doing that.
Well, that's the other thing that amazes me, how the cups are so small.
Yeah.
And you see the people coming on dunks with a 30 ounce. Yeah, it's a whole different culture.
It is, truly. And what I have here, Yeni Raki, which now you see, aren't these like the cutest? These were my parents. Wow. And after their dinner parties, they would sit and they would have ouzo or, Galliano or whatever it was.
I remember the Gallianos. Those were the big, tall bottles of liqueur. And it had like the little French soldier sitting on top or something.
Yeah.
the Italian. So what, can you describe for us what the flavor is of that alcohol?
Yep. I would say it is very close to ouzo.
Which is like a licorice,
Correct.
which I enjoy the most, like a Jägermeister or just or even better for us older folks, the Good and Plenty candies.
Absolutely. Oh my God. We had
Good and
them for
plenty.
Halloween
Yeah.
and we had them left over. I was so happy.
Yeah. Oh, they were
I
so good.
love black licorice. It's
Yes.
just wonderful. So this is actually from Turkey.
Okay.
And I'll just take a little sip.
This is why I'm jealous that we're doing this remote.
It is so wonderful.
Yeah.
Now I just took a sip this big and it's all warm.
So now, is this something that you can buy it downtown, or do you have to find it somewhere?
Okay. I am not plugging Total Wine.
Which you can get everything at.
It is the Disney World for adults.
Absolutely.
For alcohol. And when I'm doing my shows, that's where I go because they have everything from all over the world.
Right. Right.
All over.
So this is not something that you would definitely find downtown. You need to go to someplace like Total Wines to get it.
Yeah, I would
Okay.
definitely think that. Okay,
All right.
now this is, whoa.
I can
it's
see the
foaming.
steam.
You can see the steam and it's foaming. Now, Mike, I think I'm turning into a baker.
No way. Never happened. I've known you for 30 years. You're no baker.
I think, well, I have to show you.
All right.
Let's see. Now, I had that on for the cake, right?
Yep.
Okay. And the lamb's looking really good. Look at this, Mike.
Oh, I love the color.
And that's the semolina.
Yeah, that is great color.
Oh. It smells wonderful. Smells wonderful. I'm going to let that cool.
Yep.
Okay. I'm going to see how the coffee's coming. Okay, now I'm going to let it keep boiling because I just took the foam and kind of pushed it back in.
Okay.
And now I'm going to turn up the heat. I'm going to turn up the heat for the kebabs. Okay. So we might not get a lot of foam, but you'll get the idea.
Get the idea. Absolutely. That's all we need is the idea.
Yeah. And if you like sugar in your coffee, you would put it in
Sure.
as you're, bringing it to a boil.
So now this is something, here we are, we're only an hour-long program, and you're pushing this along. If you were to be serving and making this at home for the family, for the friends, this coffee would come later. You know, it's not something that you would prepare during the meal. This is something that would be, all right, after you picked up all the plates and you put them in the sink and dishwasher and so forth, then you'd put on the coffee, correct?
I would.
Okay. Yeah. But of course, because we only have so much time, we're able to do this. We're just showing the demonstration.
That's right.
I'd like to remind everybody that's watching on YouTube, look in the description. All the recipes are there. And feel free to send us an email here at HCAM. And if you have any questions for Terry on how to make these, or maybe a suggestion, or of an upcoming show, you may say, "Hey Terry, you ever travel to Minnesota? I want Minnesota food," or whatever. Terry's been around. She goes all over the place, but she wants to hear from you. We want to hear from you. So please send us an email. Go to hcam.tv to send us an email. And again, all her shows have all the recipes in the descriptions. And look from there.
Yes. Now we're going to let this cool down. the syrup is definitely cooling.
Right. So that you're just letting that you're letting that thicken up more than just cooling, right? The purpose of it is to thicken.
Exactly.
Okay.
You might not be able to see it. Probably
I
not.
can see that. Yeah, I can see it at the very bottom of the pit. Yep.
Okay. So that is still, it's cooling down. So that's a good thing. Now, the coffee, I have to say, you can see it bubbling. Well, I don't know how much you can see it bubbling. And there's not much foam whatsoever. So what I'm going to do is we're going to just keep this boiling.
Okay.
Okay. And then we'll just put it in the cups and we'll drink it. Because if the foam doesn't happen, it's not the end of the world.
Just like anything else, it doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to taste good.
That's right. So let's go on to the next slide. Now,
oh, yeah, definitely. I'm ready for it. I am actually ready for you now.
Now,
what is this?
We visited this. This is the Church of the Virgin Mary. Now, after Jesus died on the cross, John took Mary to Turkey to keep her safe so she could die in peace. And this is where she died. This was her death place. So
I do notice the cross on that back wall. So
yep.
That gave the church thing away to me.
Yep. And if you go to the next slide,
yep,
that's another picture.
Gotcha.
Of a setup that they have there, and it's just beautiful and it's solemn. You go and you walk around and this is where Jesus's mother died. It's
this here is all like exposed. It's not like you're not inside a building here. This is all out in the open because it is ancient ruins.
Absolutely.
Wow.
And you'd spend, a good part of the day there.
Absolutely. I can't. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. So that was just, heartwarming and breaking at the same time.
Beautiful country.
Yeah. And then the next slide, we have the Square of Verilanus and the Great Baths. And these were
as in Turkish baths?
Yes.
Wow.
There you go. And this was by the gymnasium, and it was for the athletes when they were training. So they would go, they would train, and then they would go soak in the baths.
Wow.
So, and again, the ruins, right? So you can kind of get a little idea.
Well, it's just amazing how it's built into the hill and everything.
Yep. And then the next slide is the Arcadian. And again, I'm slaughtering the pronunciation, no doubt. But this street was by the baths, and it's an arcaded street. So it was quite interesting to see, I have to say.
It's just amazing, too, with the paved road.
I'm going to take the coffee out.
All right.
And it's bubbling. I don't know if you can see this.
So now all those grounds that you put in just basically dissolve to make the coffee.
Yep. Absolutely. I'm going to put this aside.
That does not look like Sanka to me.
No, definitely not.
Wow.
It's not your cup of Sanka.
It is all like coffees like that, like just dissolved. There's no filtering. There's no press or anything like that.
Right.
Wow.
And I'll take a sip of that once that cools down. But isn't that beautiful?
I would wait a while on that one.
Yeah. In fact, I'll get this away from the cake so you can see the cake and what I'm going to do with the cake.
Yeah, I'm dying to see that.
And my fan went on. I have nothing. There's no way I can stop that.
That's right. I don't hear it, so you're fine.
So I'm gonna cut squares. And then just little squares instead of diamonds,
Okay.
right? Now, I don't know if you can see what I just did.
Yeah, we see that very clear.
Okay. Then I'm going to take this and take the syrup and pour the syrup over the cake. And
There it is, just falling into the slices.
it is. And the cake is sweet enough, but this is really going to put it over the top. And you don't have to use it all. I'm not going to use it all.
Sure. And so that just absorbs into the whole cake. And
Exactly.
just by putting the cuts in, it just makes it easier for it to get it through.
Yep.
And what's that? And that's the coconut.
Just right. Just a little bit of coconut. Not much. You don't want much.
Sure.
Just for a little tiny taste. Because it's not a coconut cake.
Right.
Okay. I'm going to move this out of the way. Okay. And you can see that, Mike?
Yeah, I can see that. That looks great. And you can just, I was watching as you poured it, I could just see it like disappear. It didn't like spread over the top. It just went right into it.
Beautiful. Okay, I'm going to put this over here. Now I'm going to see about the rice. What does this look like? The rice is perfect. Have to say. That's beautiful. And leave this over here. Okay. And you can see this.
Oh,
And
yeah.
you can
So that just
see-
layers right on. Right.
You can see the orzo,
Yep.
right? And we're just gonna, and this beautiful platter, believe it or not, it was a wedding gift. Is
Way
that
back
real?
when.
Way back when. And I needed something really big for the rice and to hold those skewers
Right.
and
Yeah,
to
they're
make a nice
huge.
presentation. You know, it's not too often you get to use a platter like this
Sure.
because it's glass. You have to be very careful when you use it.
Yep.
But this will be a nice presentation too. So I'm going to put the rest of the rice right there. Okay. And just spread that around a little. So this would be a perfect dish for a dinner party.
Oh, without a doubt.
Yeah.
And we know how you throw dinner parties.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Now we have 10 minutes. Oh my. I'm going to let that go for a few more minutes while I'm sipping on this and we go through the rest of the slides kind of
All
quick.
right, let's go through those right now. Let me pull them up.
Yeah.
And
So the next thing we're going to see is the
Oh,
Great Theater.
that
All
is
right?
something else.
Now, you ride by and you get out and you look at it. You're not allowed to go down there anymore at the moment. But it's beautiful. It has 22 tiers of seating.
Yep.
And it accommodates 25,000.
That's incredible.
Think about that for a minute.
Well, just think about how you had to pull the crowds together
Right.
back then. Wow.
Right. Exactly. They came by ship
Yeah,
for these big events. And then the next slide is another
Wow.
shot of it.
That is something. I can
another.
imagine that being all built for the first time. Wow.
Is that crazy? And then the next slide more ruins, right?
You can
That's the
see all the
lower.
columns, the columns and columns and
Yep.
columns.
Yep, this was the lower Agor, and it was a spacious market square. So there are a lot of markets right there. And if you go to the next slide, more ruins, right?
Wow.
And then
I
you go
just
to
can
the next.
imagine, I mean, looking over there on the left-hand side, the like roof line, if you will, can,
Yeah.
just can't imagine it, how they put it all together.
Uh-huh.
Crazy.
Now you go to the next slide, Mike.
Yep.
That was the very first church in the world.
Really?
Yes. So imagine how old that is. That's the church in Antioch,
Uh-huh.
the oldest place of worship in the world. It was the grotto of St. Peter, Jesus's disciple.
Wow.
So a lot of them,
Yeah.
they went there.
So looking at the ramp that they put up there, I'm assuming you could go inside at the time? Oh, nice.
Okay, now, if I can do this without hurting myself,
Oh, look at those.
okay, or dropping them, I'm not even going to take them off.
Oh, why not? Yeah, exactly.
Look at this.
I'd want to throw, if I was over there having dinner right now, I just want you to throw that on my plate.
I know, exactly. And they better be big plates too.
Yes, they are.
Yep. Okay.
That looks amazing.
Doesn't it? Okay, now this fan will go off by itself, so there's nothing I can do.
Listen, you're the only one hearing it. We're not hearing it.
Oh, good. So, so here you have it. You have a Turkish salad. You have Turkish kebabs, which are beautiful.
Yep.
If I can do this so you can see them a little better. You have rice pilaf, Turkish pilaf. You have semolina cake.
Yep.
Revani, Turkish coffee, and Turkish liqueur. So this was it. Now there are a couple more slides.
We got 5 slides left. Let's get through these slides because they're gorgeous. So
rug making, okay? When you're in Turkey, you have to go and see how they make the rugs.
Absolutely.
These are the ladies that make the rugs. And you can see they have the little samples on the little frame up there, and then they're working on the pattern. The next slide is when you're at the demonstration, that's just how it is. You sit there and they come out and they bring the rugs and you're drinking tea or coffee.
Yep.
And they're displaying all the rugs. They're beautiful. And then
That's
the
awesome.
next slide is another picture.
Those things are so gorgeous.
Aren't they just beautiful?
The works of art. It's artwork. It's not, it's not furniture. It's artwork.
Exactly. And then the next slide is the famous Istanbul Bazaar.
Wow.
Now look how beautiful that is, right?
The largest mall in the world right there.
Mm-hmm. Just beautiful, just beautiful. And then the last slide is the port of Kusadasi. And that's right by Ephesus.
Yep.
And you see how beautiful it is.
I tell you, the whole countryside is just amazing.
Yeah.
Especially being by the shore.
Yeah.
Something else. That is one heck of a trip you took us on.
There you go.
That is outstanding. So where we only have like 5 minutes left here.
Okay, and I'm enjoying this Yeni Raki.
We've been through all this. This is fantastic. But one thing that I want to know is where are we going next month?
Well, we're back in the States.
Okay.
And it's a very interesting land I'd say it's in the Northern Hemisphere. Can I say that?
You can say Northern Hemisphere, sure, sure.
Yeah. And can I say it's not your normal kind of place?
Is this one of these places that most people have on their bucket list to travel to?
I would think they do. I
Okay.
would think they do. You want more hints?
Well, one more hint would be, what would be the type of food you have there?
A lot of seafood.
A lot of seafood. Oh,
A lot
okay.
of seafood.
I got a good idea. I have a good idea, but let's not give it away. It's good to tease this.
Hey, all right.
Right. So
It's going to be wonderful because I spent 3 weeks at this place
3 weeks.
and I've got some stories. Put it that way.
Now, did you travel there by land or by sea or both? Did you do a little?
We flew there.
You flew there, but did you do any? Okay.
We flew
I
there.
didn't want to give away the water stuff.
Did no cruise. Put
Okay.
it that way. It was
That's
more
awesome.
like a National Geographic trip,
Gotcha.
if you get my meaning.
I know exactly. I you know what? We get to talk before the show, so yes, I know exactly what you're talking about. But yes, I'm hoping the viewers, and if you're at home and you want to guess, send us an email.
Absolutely.
Maybe I'll give you a little
Absolutely.
prize if you guess correctly where we're going to next month, but you can wait for it. So we're going to be back again in May for another one of your travel adventures. And you got all that good food, and I'm in my
Yeah.
office, and you're at home, and I'm all jealous. That salad I just want to dive into.
I know. I
And,
know.
Just a plate. I could take half that plate off of you, those couple kebabs, and
I know. Absolutely.
a nice job, Terry.
Oh.
Fantastic as always. Thank you so much for taking the time out for bringing these wonderful dishes to us. And I'm hoping if my schedule works right, I should be here to join you next month.
Oh, let's hope so. And, I just want to thank HCAM. Here's to HCAM. I always toast you because I love you. And, the station's just incredible, as the viewers, and giving me an opportunity to share my adventures with you. So thanks again. And here's to you, HCAM, forever in my heart.
Thank you again, Terry. And we'll see you next month for another exciting food venue, and of course, some wonderful pictures and stories about your trips. So thank you again, and I will see you next month.
Great. Thanks, Mike. Thanks all. Be well.
Fabulous show. Both.